groundbreaking research and innovation that occurs every single day at universities, not just in Alabama, but across the country. And part of what you're paying for with that tuition is access to those kinds of researchers. So if you yourself want to go into those career fields, you're talking about the people who are breaking ground on that every single day. But it is expensive, and we're very mindful of that. One of the things that's absolutely pivotal for you to do as you think about your college plans is to plan early. There are lots of scholarships available. There are scholarships available based on your SAT and ACT scores. There are scholarships based on leadership. There are scholarships to help diversify education to ensure those from marginalized backgrounds come back into school. And that's a really important issue in our state especially, as we know that diversity has not always been at the forefront of our institutions. Now with that cost come a lot of problems. One statistic you might not have been aware of, but unfortunately some of you may experience, is that 54% of college students in Alabama will experience food insecurity before graduation. That means at some point they will not have enough to eat. And so Alabama is the first state in the United States to form a coalition of all 14 publicly funded institutions that are actually working to combat college-age hunger. 10% of college students will experience homelessness. So those tuition bills don't come without a price. And sometimes that price is the choice between paying tuition and buying adequate food and medication. And so that's also part of that planning too. There are lots of resources available, and we want to make sure you're always taking advantage of those resources. Okay. Amber's still in the lead, but again, creeping up. Let's look at this one. The University of Alabama's first football team started in what year?
Good. Thank you. I hope I did it. I think it. I watch YouTube videos of it.
All right, 1892 was the year. Now, why is this important for us to think about something like that? It goes back to the 1890s, so over 100 years old. It's because universities have traditions. And one of the things we see as people wear Auburn gear or Alabama gear or UNA gear, I'm in my UNA purple today, is that these traditions are something you're going to join into when you go to college. Whether it's the school colors, it's the alma mater, it's the fight song, or going to the football games, all of those are part of building a sense of community. We refer to the community of a university as the alumni. And just as you will be alumni of Decatur High School, you will hopefully one day be alumni from a university. And that affiliation is a big part of your success down the road. It's about networking opportunities. It's about professional development. It's about career planning and placement. And you'll find that all of the universities in Alabama, for that matter universities all around the country, have career centers that work with you not just while you're a student, but also long after you graduate. Now, it also gives you a sense of belonging at home. One of the things that I really liked about Senator Orr's speech was that he said, you need to come back here. You are currently Alabamians, but the hope is that you're going to be future Alabamians, and that you'll live here in this state, you'll continue to work in this state, and to improve this state. And part of that is having that sense of community. So even if you just go to university in Alabama and then leave and move off to other places, it's still another way to tie you back home. And making sure that you feel that connection, because no matter what, you'll always be tied to Alabama. Through your education, you'll always have a connection, and therefore a responsibility to be part of Alabama's future. Oh wow, we have a new leader. Congratulations. All right, I'll get you a prize as we start the next question because I'm running out of time. I want you to know who Arthurine J. Lucy is. She was the first woman to attend Auburn University, the first woman to be president of the University of West Alabama, the first African-American student at the University of Alabama, or the first student at UA Huntsville. All right. All right. One of the things that's so important for us to understand in Alabama, this gets back to, again, this idea that our history has not always been perfect, is that for many people in this state, education was a closed door. Women did not have a right to attend any public institution in Alabama until 1872. And UNA in 2022 will mark the 150th anniversary of the admittance of women. African Americans were prohibited from attending public institutions until the 1950s, after Brown versus Board of Education. But Arthurine J. Lucy was expelled from the University of Alabama just 3 days after she was admitted for her own personal safety. And later on, James Hood and Vivian Malone became the first two African American students to actually attend the institution and go to classes, following George Wallace's very famous stand in the schoolhouse door. So we have to remember that education hasn't always been an open door for everybody. And it can be closed to many people if we don't continue to advocate for diversity in higher education. So it's absolutely pivotal that you all ensure that that never happens again. All right, Reagan, where are you? Congratulations. I will give you a prize as we go to the next question. Since 1974, this university's had live lions living on campus. Trust me, they know they're there.
I've seen it. It's like an hour away. I've been there. I don't know what it's called. But, yeah. Yeah, UNA. That's the school our mom wants me to go to.
UNA! Yes, I had to throw in a good UNA question there about our live lions. Come over and see Leo III and Una right on our campus.
It's actually there.
They are there. They live there right there every day. Isabel! All right, you get a prize as well. Let's go on to the next question. This university was started by 9 freed slaves. A&M, Judson, Alabama State, or Tuskegee? There you go.
Judson.
You're saying too much confidence for me to know.
Like, I'm like a good guesser, but like, I feel confident about the guess.
Alabama State.
No.
Alabama State was started by what's called the Marian Nine. 9 freed slaves in 1867 said absolutely education should be open to every person. But it was Alabama and it was 1867. And so the predominantly white state government and predominantly white society said absolutely not. Should freed slaves have an opportunity to learn? And so they said, fine, we'll just start our own. And this kind of innovation after the Civil War, this is just 2 years after the Civil War, shows the commitment that many people have had to achieving education and to ensuring, again, that it's open to everybody. And so now, all of our institutions, of course, are fully integrated and diversified, but this just shows that those opportunities, again, weren't always available to everyone. All right, good job. Let's do question number 9. Who founded Tuskegee Institute? George Wallace, Booker T. Washington, Fred Gray, or George Washington? All right, good job. Here's my real question for you. Who's ever had a peanut butter sandwich? Yeah, you have. Say thank you to Booker T. Washington for that. Now, you might say, does that really warrant founding a college? But here's what's important about the research that came out of Tuskegee and other institutions like it. Alabama is an agricultural state, and the majority of our citizens still are related to the land, whether they live on farms or work on farms. And it's a huge component of our state's population, our state's history, our state's economic output. And ensuring that we can produce enough food to feed ourselves, and for that matter, food that we can feed people around the world, requires innovation. And that kind of research that was done by Booker T. Washington and others at Tuskegee, in particular the inventing of peanut butter, ensured a high-protein, low-cost, no refrigeration food source that was great for people working in agriculture. You can take a peanut butter sandwich, 2 pieces of bread, stick it in your pocket, and you can go out and work in the field all day long, and the peanut butter's not going to spoil. That ensures you don't have to refrigerate it. It's high protein, so it's going to give you great energy. It's a phenomenal snack. So if you don't like peanut butter, try to learn to like it. Peanut butter cracker, it's a great snack to have. But this is the kind of work that's being done by people in Alabama. So every time somebody says, oh, Alabama, remind them that the innovation that's occurred here has literally saved billions of lives around the world. It ensures that people are healthy. This is what prevents people from being malnourished. Things like peanut butter. Might sound silly, but it's absolutely true. All right, Ms. Halsey, you're making an impressive comeback. Let's see how we do on question 10. And what was Auburn University formerly known
Come on,
as?
you're gonna get this.
Alabama Polytechnic Institute, Alabama State College, Alabama College of Science, or the University of East Alabama?
Better know this one, man. It's easy to get it wrong.
All right.
I know, it'd be funny though.
Auburn was Alabama Polytechnic Institute, but it actually started as East Alabama Male College. And so one of the things I want to leave you with is that education is constantly evolving. Institution names change. Institutional traditions change. Programs change. And for many of you, the careers that you're going to enter 5, 6 years from now don't even exist today. The degree programs that you're going to study may not have even been here 5 years ago.
Teachers and students, please transition to our second phase of the day. Sophomores, go to the cafeteria. Seniors, go to the auditorium. Freshmen, go to the auxiliary gym. And juniors, go to the arena.